When Daphne Finnegan's son became addicted to ice, she locked him in a cage. Safe to say this grandmother is out of the ordinary. Now she's defending her family against accusations they're being greedy for seeking compensation for the loss of her other son.
I want everyone to claim. I want everybody to claim because Queensland Health never apologised and never cared. And they continue to hurt Jamie, continue to hurt him or make him suffer.
Daphne Finnegan has no problem defending the money her family is claiming after the loss of Daphne's oldest son, Jamie.
How do you put a price on the worth or the value of somebody's life?
Yep. You can't, can you? Jamie was a good man, you know, he was a good man.
Does it make you angry when people look at this and say, well, they're just being greedy and they've all got their hands out?
No one knows, do they? Until they walk in your shoes, no one knows.
Jamie received $10 million in damages after a Brisbane hospital botched his treatment and he was left with a brain injury 6 years ago. Sadly, Jamie died last year. Now his grieving widow Cara is back in court seeking $1.2 million for nervous shock and loss of consortium or sex with her childhood sweetheart and father of their 4 children.
Yeah, that's pathetic. Jamie's worth a lot more than that. Mate, he's a man of good value. He was. I believe he should have charged 3. If we were talking about conjugal rights, he was worth $3 million. He's an Italian stallion, mate.
I think that if the person can establish, under the current law, that they have suffered an injury, that they have suffered a loss as a result of the original injury, I think that's a fair thing to be compensated for.
Lawyer Christine Smythe is an expert in damages claims.
It's not only the loss of everyday relationships, it's the pleasure that comes from having a relationship with another human being. That pleasure can simply be their companionship, right down to sexual relations.
Here's an attractive man. Jamie, mate, you want to have a look at his picture. He was a top shelf bloke. He was. I don't want to look at me like I'm stupid, but he was.
She may be joking about the way the claim is worded, but Daphne says her son's partner has every right to compensation.
She deserves it. She's got to raise those 4 children by herself. She didn't get any money to raise those children. You think Jamie wants his children living in poverty?
Daphne says of the $10 million Jamie received in damages, about $8 million is still left. She says that money's now being held in trust for his children until they turn 25. Daphne says the rest of the family didn't get a cent, and she's angry that her son's partner will now have to go to court to fight for compensation.
I offered her $30,000. She went to mediation and they said, but $30,000, which wouldn't have paid her lawyer. And they said, that family's been given enough money. And they said, as children get older, they don't need their father. That was their view. That's Queensland Health's view.
Cara isn't the only one making a claim. 5 other relatives have also filed lawsuits against the hospital. Court documents show Jamie's younger brother Jaden has offered to settle for $323,000. His uncle James has asked for $215,000, and his grandmother Daphne Jill and stepfather Ivan also asked for $80,000.
Mum and Poppy claim, but they only give them $1,000. Even though Jamie mowed their grass every fortnight, and that's her number 1 grandson, but they give her $1,000. That was a bit of a joke. She was so disgusted she wouldn't pick it up, but anyway.
Also claiming is another of Jamie's brothers, Wiley, who Daphne says turned to ice because of what happened to his brother. In fact, we did a story on Daphne's fight to save Wiley from ice 3 years ago by locking him in a cage in her home.
So, Wiley, what did you think when your mum came up with this idea?
Well, I was a bit, angry, you know. At first, I was shocked, really shocked.
But you agreed to go along with it?
Yeah, because I knew I needed a bit of help. No one else gave me help. Mum's the last one standing, you know.
Wiley was an academic achievement student in the A-grade football team, in boarding school. Now what is he? Nothing. He's got no future now, has he? Hasn't got his licence, never had a car licence, never had a stable job. I think he's had employment once.
At the end of the day, when a person becomes injured, it is that immediate family group and, by extension, other members of the family who have to chip in and help support that injured person. And that takes a toll on everyone.
Daphne expects her daughter Storm will also lodge a claim. In fact, the only one who hasn't is Daphne herself. And she's the one who mostly cared for Jamie after his brain injury.
I looked after him, but He kept me going. He wasn't, like, he wasn't a burden. He really wasn't. I really miss him. I really miss him.
Daphne did inherit this home, which was bought to house Jamie after his injury, but she says she had to fight the trustees who managed the money for every cent to make his life more comfortable.
Jamie was a multi-millionaire and I had to bath him with an old bit of garden hose. That's the truth. And no one cared. No one cared what indignities he was made to suffer. No one cared the door was open and the flies were crawling on him and he couldn't even brush the flies out of his mouth or his nose or his eyes because he couldn't move. And the wind's blowing on him while he's wet. No one cared.
And you couldn't understand that he'd just been paid this money for damages, but none of that was coming your way to help him.
No. I had to fight for everything. I had to fight for everything for him. And that's why he died with so much money, because they kept it all.
The claim for Daphne's daughter-in-law Cara is due to be heard later this year.